Yeah, it's interesting, MotoGP. We've been there now for 7 years. It's been really an incredible opportunity for us. Work very closely with Nuno with Olympics, and he's always pushing us for more mics, more detail. With Olympics, it's all about the detail, the fine detail. We put 7 lapel mics on a volleyball net, or 10, 12 ice mics under the ice there. And so it's all about detail. With MotoGP, for me specifically, it was my first experience with motorsport, really, for audio for motorsport. And I must say it's hell on earth. It's for a sound engineer, for a microphone engineering company, it's hell. Because there is such a thing as too much sound. It's extremely loud. So each of those bikes, and I measured this about 5 times over 7 years, they do about 135. The quietest one that I measured was 135 dB. So we have 22 of those bikes revving at 355 kilometers per hour. It's really tricky. And we had an amazing idea of putting sub-miniature omnidirectional microphones on them. So it's a challenge, but we love it. We have 12 months of the year with them over the past 7 years to test. And we use MotoGP for us, really, as a great laboratory. And we love working with those guys. So Nuno and Carl had a highlight video, so I'm going to have one as well. So there is one thing that Carl and NBC, they always do very well, and Carl always talk about, is storytelling, telling the story of whatever sport. So does OBS as well. And I have picked up a lot from these guys. And we use this in MotoGP as well, because when you think about motorsports in general, it's just loud. The engines are extremely loud. But there are so many other incredible elements of sound to capture that will make up the DNA of any sport, and MotoGP is no different. So just a quick little bit about the infrastructure in the championship. So the championship runs over almost 12 months, 11 months of the year. So it starts in February and goes all the way to November. I just returned from Valencia 2 days ago. And it goes across 5 continents, about 18 countries, and 22 races for this season. Dawn Sports is the rights holder. They provide all the infrastructure, the crew, and anything to make this go live. They have 250 permanent crew members that are making all this thing happen. It's great because they have consistency. They know what they're doing. About 156 cameras are used. About 100 of them actually are mounted on the bikes. That's called the butt cam. Now, as I was saying about sound elements, there are so much more to capture than just the raw sound of the engines. That's Sergio Sandro, head of global technology with Dorna. So our first step when we arrived in 2018 with MotoGP was to understand all these elements. And the first thing we did with Pep Mendoza was to walk around, learn about the elements, and so I could pick the right microphones, and together we could improve the mic plan. So the first thing we did was to give an overhaul on the microphones on the track. There's many mics to talk about, and if you want to see the full list, I can tell you later. But for now, I just want to focus on the BP28 because those microphones, I can see, they are like within meters of the track. We have over 150, 145 dBs when you have all these bikes combined, flashing in front of the mics. And being able to work under those extreme sound levels is a priority. The shotgun sounds great, but it needs to be able to deliver low end and maintain this signal without distortion. So in the BP28, does a great job on that. Then we move to the pit lane. Pit lane it's a magical place. There's so much going on in there. So we want to be able to capture the pit wall and the pit lane and create an interesting atmosphere. Again, the mics must be high SPL tolerant. We use one of our favorites. We use a lot of those on Olympic Games as well, the BP4025 and an XY stereo mic. They're excellent mics. Now, for the boxes, which we found really interesting, this is something that I'm really proud that we brought into MotoGP, is it's a half cardioid boundary mic, and the idea is to capture everything that's in front of the box without compromising any team strategy. So we don't want to broadcast that. So and this microphone works wonderfully well. The teams can be just behind the box talking about strategy, and all you get is a very nice diffuse sound of clicks and clacks and all the chatter and the buzz that you get in front of the box. Crowd, of course, is a priority in any sport. MotoGP is not different. We have about 350,000 people attending these events. They're very vocal, they participate, and we go more in detail on crowd later. We use the BP3600 quite a bit. We have 3 of them. They are capturing, creating a very nice 3D image of crowd, but we also use at the start of the grid as well, and one in the center of the track, just to create a general atmosphere as well. Really nice to see that there are more and more 3D content being created. This is, I believe, Canal Plus. They're using the Blackmagic Ursa 3D, and they're using, together with Apple, spatial audio as well. So there are content out there being produced by broadcasters attending, working together with MotoGP. So it's really nice to see that our mic is also being taken advantage of to create 3D content. Now, of course, the start of the show is the motorbike itself. We have 6 microphones per bike. They are set up in stereo pairs, 2 in front of the cockpit, 2 in the back on the butt cam, and 2 near the engine and the exhaust. So essentially, each of those bikes become a portable microphone array. They are capturing its own mechanical sounds, the engine, but whatever is around, including other bikes as well. So you get the idea. So it gives you an idea of proximity. You can hear the bike next to you. It's in stereo, so the people watching at home really takes the benefit of understanding what's going on the bike on the track. Now, they do a lot of interesting things. Of course, the bike is carrying audio. There is a wealth of video as well. But they have a lot of telemetry as well. They carry things such as speed, RPM, lean angle, even the biometric information of the rider as well is used. And all of these are packed into a data block that's linked to the race timeline, and they can use for real-time overlays, graphics, and everything is done remotely in Barcelona. Even the color grading is done in Barcelona as well. Now, for audio, there is some benefits, and they do this in a very clever way. For instance, when a bike is exceeding or just about 70 degrees of lean angle, well, it means the bike is crashing, really. So, and of course, we want to hear the glorious sound of the bike crashing on the gravel. So there's about 286 channels on the Lavo MC Square that Pep Mendoza is mixing. And if there's not enough hands to pick up all the things happening at the same time. So what they do is a GPO signal is sent to the mixing console when the bike is at 70 degrees. Automatically, the fader for corresponding to those microphones arrays. So we can hear. The director then can just jump in replay, but we can hear their bike in the background has crashed, and we can pick up the sound of the crash very nicely. Another thing they do very nicely with telemetry is the use of speed. For instance, when the bike is in full motion at over 300 kilometers per hour, it gets extremely loud. So we need to drop the gain preamp by 20 dB. And when the speed then slows down below 60 kilometers per hour, it means the bike is entering the pit lane, there's a limiter, or if the bike crashes and stops, we want to hear the marshals, we want to hear the doctors, the rider cursing, or whatever it's happening with the bike at the moment, so we can use the bike microphone as a mobile mic array. Have in mind that you may have a camera with a shotgun 20, 30, 40, 50 meters away, so you can't really hear what's going on. Say the rider parks the bike in the fence, they celebrate with the fans, we can use the bike for that. So but all of this is done automatically, so we don't need to do anything. The bike, the preamp on the camera will just raise the level itself. There's another thing as well that do really nicely is how clean they can keep crowd. it's really loud in there. We're talking about 140 dB plus. So we have a combination of microphones used for the crowd, the BP3600 immersive mic, stereo mics, 4029, 4027, and so on. What they do is they use GPS as a way to track where the bikes are anywhere on the track. You can see the colored icons there, the locations of each grandstand. And so basically when a group of bikes, I think I have a video here, so there we go. So when a group of bikes are passing in front of each grandstand, the largest group of bikes will then allow a GPO to duck that specific grandstand microphone. Otherwise, we have a phasing issue because we are duplicating the sound being picked up by the bikes plus the grandstand as well. Every grandstand has a large screen, so if something happens, whatever happens around the track, every grandstand will have a reaction and the crowd will shout or have some kind of expression. So nothing's missed. It just means that when the bike's around, say for instance, now we can use grandstand number 6, 5, 1, 2, but duck grandstand now come in 3 and number 4, they can duck. So we always have clean signal. So they do have quite a lot of good use of telemetry. There's a lot more stuff they do. Please feel free to come and talk to us. I'm not going to go through every single microphone here, but I want to make sure that I keep Heather happy and keep the time down. So is that okay, Heather? Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much.